can't believe he ate the whole cake.
I mean, it's Bevan. What do you expect?
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke. Your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, a week, a month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to pour, I'll be there for you. Like I've been there before. I'll be there for you. 'Cause I'm there for you too.
Shouldn't he have thrown up already? After what he did, I hope he throws up.
Are you kidding? I don't want to clean all that up.
Happy birthday! Bevan, I made you a cake. Well, I made a cake. Bevan ate the frosting.
Alright, I'm sorry, I was super hungry.
Thanks, Mo. You're welcome. Alright, let's cut the cake. Should we wait for Jenna or should we go ahead and cut it? Jenna!
Sing happy birthday. I'll be right there.
Alright.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you guys. Let's go ahead and put it on our plates.
Yes! Domino.
And Jenna.
Morgan. But let's wait for Jenna before we start eating the cake.
The digestion of carbohydrates and fats begins with saliva secretion as food approaches. Here, carbohydrates in the form of sucrose or white sugar within the cake are currently being partially digested by the saliva Bevan's mouth secreted prior to taking a bite of the cake. His saliva is coming from the sublingual glands under his tongue, his submandibular glands under his mandible, and his parotoid glands near the hinge of his jaw. The carbohydrates begin their breakdown into monosaccharides, hitting the esophagus, which begins with skeletal muscles to control swallowing and ends as smooth muscle into the stomach to complete digestion. The bolus, or mass of partially digested food, is then moved by waves of contraction called peristalsis from one section to the next section of digestion.
Sorry, guys.
Whatever, I'm literally so excited for this cake.
Ignore him. We have the whole rest of the cake left. First bite on 3.
1, 2, 3.
Wow, that was a lot of cake. Looks like he ate about 3 liters worth. Food enters the stomach, a sac-like organ with strong muscular walls that can hold as much as 2 liters of food and fluids when fully expanded. It has 3 mechanical tasks to do. First, it stores the cake Bevan swallowed and mixes it with acid and enzymes to create chyme. The stomach digests proteins and fats that can be found in the cake. The stomach secretes acid and powerful enzymes that continue the chemical breakdown of the large molecules of cake into smaller molecules and changing it to a consistency of liquid or paste. The enzyme pepsin is responsible for protein breakdown. Hydrochloric acid helps break down proteins and fats. Proteins are broken down into peptides, which are then broken down into singular amino acids that are sent to the small intestines. Once the contents are broken down into smaller pieces, the lipid-soluble substances, such as alcohol and aspirin, can be then absorbed, and chyme meets the pleuris, which is the gatekeeper, or opening between the stomach and the small intestine, is guarded by the pleuric valve.
Bevan! Whoa! Bevan, you're kicked out of the group!
Sorry, you guys know I love cake, but I don't feel so good.
Yeah, no way! Eat a whole cake, why don't you?
Carbohydrate digestion begins with the enzyme amylase, which breaks down long glucose polymers into smaller glucose chains and into the disaccharide maltose. Maltose and other disaccharides are broken down by intestinal enzymes known as disaccharadases, maltase, sucrase, and lactase. The end products of carbohydrate digestion are glucose, galactose, and fructose. Intestinal glucose and galactose absorption uses the same transporters as those found in the renal proximal tubule, the apical sodium glucose SGLT symporter and the basolateral GLUT2 transporter. Fructose moves across the apical membrane by facilitated diffusion on the GLUT5 transporter and across the basolateral membrane by the GLUT2 transporter. The primary products of protein digestion are free amino acids, dipeptides, and tripeptides, all of which can be absorbed. Luckily for Bevan, the protein in the cake is egg protein, which is the most digestible of all proteins. 85 to 90% of it can be absorbed. Endopeptidases digest internal peptide bonds. The endopeptidases in the small intestine are trypsin and chymotrypsin. After digestion, proteins are absorbed mostly as free amino acids. Most free amino acids are carried by sodium-dependent co-transport proteins. A few amino acid transporters are hydrogen-dependent. For fat digestion, the liver secretes bile salts into the small intestine, which help break down the coarse emulsion into smaller, more stable particles. Then pancreatic lipase and colipase break down fats into monoglycerides and fatty acids stored in micelles. The monoglycerides and fatty acids move out of micelles and enter cells by simple diffusion. Cholesterol is also transported into the cells through diffusion. Once the monoglycerides and fatty acids are inside the enterocytes, they move to the smooth ER, where they recombine into triglycerides. The triglycerides then join cholesterol and protein to form large droplets called chylomicrons. These are then packaged into secretory vesicles and leave the cell by exocytosis.
And he still hasn't thrown up. It's a medical marvel.
Guys!
The large intestine is the last part of the digestive system in most vertebrates. It extracts water and salt from solid wastes before they are eliminated from the body and is the site in which flora-aided large bacterial fermentation of unabsorbed material occurs. Unlike the small intestine, the colon does not play a major role in absorption of food and nutrients. About 1,500 milliliters or 45 ounces of water arrives in the colon each day. The length of the adult human colon is, on average, for women 155 centimeters and for men 166. In mammals, the colon consists of 4 sections: the ascending, the transverse, the descending, and the sigmoid. The large intestine takes about 16 hours to finish the digestion of food. It removes water and any remaining absorbable nutrients from the food before sending the indigestible matter to the rectum. The colon absorbs vitamins that are created by colonic bacteria, such as vitamin K, vitamin B12, thiamine, and riboflavin. It also compacts feces and stores fecal matter in the rectum until it can be discharged. The large intestine also secretes potassium and chlorine ions. Recycling of various nutrients also takes place in the colon. Examples include fermentation of carbohydrates, short-chain fatty acids, and urea cycling.
Maybe next time you'll think before you eat an entire cake.
Yeah, and you owe us a cake.
Okay.
Me too, wait, I can't.
Wait, I already started the video.
Too beautiful.
Okay, are y'all using this? Because it's still recording.
Oh, it's still recording? Okay.
That's a... Use that.